Alright then, YouTube, it's time for me to have another little rant, because it's coming up to that time of year where this shit comes through everyone's letterbox that we don't ask for, isn't sent through like the companies that actually charge to do this shit, and yeah, so I just thought I would share with you what has actually come through my door today. So for those of you who don't know, for those of you who are living in another country or something like that, when is it actually? It's tomorrow, apparently, on the 2nd of May. The people of the UK get to go and vote on who, or like what political party is in charge of their local council. Now, where I live falls under West Lancashire Council. It's the one that's literally next to Liverpool, so it's fine. So yeah, so obviously all the parties at the moment are out there kind of campaigning for your vote and saying we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I've got to share with you something that's literally just come through my post this morning, because it is so full of bullshit, it's actually quite laughable. But I don't appreciate getting lied to like this, and it is so easy to see through these lies. Basically, for the past couple of years, since we've had this coalition government in, the Labour Party have done nothing apart from admit their mistakes as to why they got voted out in the first place, but they haven't done it all in one go. They've basically admitted we fucked it up last time, and yes, we sold the UK down the Swanee, it's in shitloads of debt, and we shouldn't have done that. But it's nice of them to admit that now. But the thing is with that is that yeah, they didn't do it all in one go, so people think that that was only a little mistake. Oh, that was only a little mistake. Oh, that was only a little mistake. And then it's like, actually, no, if you watch all of them, it amounts to a massive fuck up. With this actual vote, even though it's not for the actual kind of the people who are in Parliament vote, it's this one is purely just for the local councils. But I still wouldn't be voting for Labour. For me, Labour have still got it wrong. I mean, without meaning to sound personally offensive to him, they have got a man who's in charge of the party at the moment who actually looks like a character from a Punch and Judy show. You know, you'd kind of go to the seaside and sit there for about 15 minutes wondering if the crocodile had eaten his sausages. So what are the Labour Party promising me is going to happen? And I swear to you, this is a promise from the Labour Party, right? Okay, so jobs for young people and support for children's centres. Extra investment for Lancashire apprenticeships and more money for our children's centres. Ah, isn't that really nice? Oh, isn't that lovely? On the first point there, I'd just like to point out that the national minimum wage is going up in October of this year in the UK. It's going up to £6.19 an hour at the top rate, and that's if you are over. Is it if you're over 21 or 22? If you're over 18 but under 21, if it is 21, then it's still. I think it's still within the £5 range, isn't it? I think, and then under that is still shit. Apprenticeships. The average wage, from what I've been able to find of apprenticeships around here, is about £2 per hour. So, why do we want apprenticeships again? Why? Because if you look at it realistically, this thing is missing about £6 an hour off an actual livable wage. And you want people to go and do that, do you? Yeah? Really? You want that to happen, do you, Labour? Oh, fine, thank you. Our children's centres. Yes, let's put our children in centres, because that's what the country fucking needs, right? Dignity for the elderly and protection for those with disabilities. A Lancashire gold standard of care for older people. And support for you and your family, because that's what's fucking needed. Not like, you know, more realistic jobs in the country or a higher minimum wage so we could actually live on it or anything like that. And obviously, you know, the elderly have no dignity at the moment. I mean, that just got took away because, you know, this government did stuff to take dignity away. Okay. Cheaper fuel bills and a greener Lancashire. We will help you to use less and buy cheaper energy, and invest to save local recycling centres. That is like a top priority of mine. How did they know? My God. I mean, let's just face a little fact here, Labour, shall we? Shall we face a little fact? This government that are in at the moment, this coalition, have actually brought in standards into the energy industry, in which if a company that you're with has a cheaper tariff that you can actually go on to, like my electric supplier at the moment is EDF Energy, which I know stands for Energie de France, but whatever. So the amount that I pay at the moment, if they could do another tariff that I'm on, or that I'm applicable for, that is going to save me money, they can notify me of it, or they can put me on it, and that sort of thing. That's been brought in by this government, Labour. So what are you actually going to do different to make sure that I pay less for that? What are you going to do? Save local recycling centres. Well, I hate to break it to you, we've got one council recycling centre around here that has always been open, that is staying open. There are other companies and charities that also do recycling as well. I mean, there's a really handy one that I keep going to whenever I need stuff. And I can't remember what they're called, but they are literally around the corner from me. And what they will do is they will say this couch that I'm sat on at the moment. I mean, it's quite knackered as it is anyway, but I could ring them up and say, listen, I've got this couch, I'm getting rid of it. There's like really nothing wrong with it apart from a couple of springs have gone underneath. They will come and pick it up, take it back to their workshop, fix the couch up, and then sell it. But they don't make a profit on that either. It's purely just, you know, like really cheap furniture. So yeah, there's already things like that in place. We would protect public transport and improve our roads. Extra investment in live, real-time transport information and repairing our highways. For starters, Labour, you're not in America. They're called motorways. And real-time transport information. How the fuck are you going to implement that when you've got private bus companies, eh? What? I mean, what? The thing is with that is the cost of transport at the moment for public transport across everywhere has literally shot through the roof over the past couple of years because of the price of petrol and minimum wage going up and everything like that. So these companies are facing their own higher costs anyway. So the bus company that does around here at the moment called Arriva, now they just put their prices up kind of like every 3 months. But yeah, so if they were going to have to do a system, either implement it or buy it themselves, that means there's going to be another price increase. Why am I going to want to pay another price increase? Why am I going to want to do that? And I'm not being funny, but I don't exactly live in a city. You know, this isn't like a rural area. It's not a city. It's just like a town. You know, there's a couple of thousand people that live here. I kind of think we've managed up to now without this real-time information. I think we can go on without it, just ever so slightly. So yeah, that's bullshit. A Lancashire to be proud of. Making work pay the living wage and a fair trade commitment. And yet earlier on in this, you were just saying that you're going to invest in Lancashire apprenticeships, which pay nowhere near the fucking livable wage. What the fuck, Labour? Seriously? Now, of course, that isn't just the only thing that you get through with Labour. Oh, no. If Labour are going to put stuff through your door, they make sure that, like, you know, your whole mat is covered. The next one is for this person who would be representing me. In the Digmore ward area. Didn't know I lived in a hospital. So yeah, so this is like this little booklet, and it's got in his address and his email address and his phone number, so you can text him. It's gonna text me MP. I'm so pissed off. I think that is absolutely hilarious. Okay, so right, so this is what he is going to do for this area, right? Okay, so working with fellow Labour councillors, the police and the fire service to tackle antisocial behaviour. Bitch, please. We've had these Labour MPs around for fucking since the Labour Party came onto the scene, and they've not really been able to tackle antisocial behaviour, have they? No, they haven't. Campaigning for the long overdue town centre redevelopment. Over the past years, the Tory council has failed to deliver on their promises, but great campaign work by our MP and many others means that we're finally getting somewhere. Bullshit. I will put a link below to a video if you want to have a look into this town where I live. You can go and watch this video. It's kind of like when they first started the town, and they're saying like, this is how the town will work, and blah 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 blah. It is quite an interesting video, I've got to say, from a geeky point of view. But this town, in modern day terms, has completely failed. Like, it went completely tits up. So at the moment we've got this town centre, which is a supermarket, which it's okay, you need it, and then this dump of a shopping centre, and I call it a dump, like the shopping centre has more closed units than it does open, and it's got tell the truth, it has actually got a whole floor. It's 3 stories high, and the top floor has been shut since like fucking hell, it's probably like new enough 90s it's been shut since. So yeah, so it's not doing great. It's a complete failure. So this town centre redevelopment thing, they want to build us a 5-screen cinema. Because, I mean, you know, the shops are closing near enough daily around here because they can't make money. So obviously what we need is actually a 5-screen cinema. That's just what we need. Isn't that thoughtful? So, you know, Labour, you go ahead and push through for that, because I'll be fucking overjoyed. We are working to remove the Tories from power. We've had years of incompetent, arrogant Tory rule of West Lancashire, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. And Labour are saying that? Really? Oh my god, Labour, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't laugh. I really shouldn't. Let me just give you a little thing at the moment. There is a Labour MP who's in charge for this area at the moment, called Rosie Cooper. She is part of the Labour Party. Let me tell you a little few facts about Rosie. When the MP expenses scandal got found out, do we know how many thousands of pounds Rosie spent on a evaluation for an abandoned flat, and then didn't actually bother to buy it or do anything else with that information, and then she billed it to the taxpayer? Wasn't that nice of her? Yeah. And then of course there's, you know, putting through the receipts that shouldn't have gone through. I mean, oh, I'm so naughty, but vote for me again. and then if you want to know especially why she's not getting my vote again, in fact the Labour Party can literally go and sit on that, is because when the marriage equality vote came up in Parliament, I am gay, so I obviously want marriage equality for my future. You know, I want to keep my options open, and she voted against it. And do you want to know why she voted against it? Because she wanted to keep the what's the word now? The sanctity of marriage. Really? Yeah, the sanctity of marriage. Now, what was that 40 years ago? Oh, that was it. So she wants to keep it that black people can't marry white people. Or is that the wrong sanctity? Is that the wrong one? I don't know what era I'm actually arguing for marriage from. It's so confusing these days, you know. So yeah, and unfortunately, that vote went completely against her, and actually looks set to become legal quite soon. So there we go. So yes, there's to contact Chris. Now this is something that I do actually need to address on this channel, because it's something that it's just been so blown out of proportion, that we need to get a couple of things straight about this, and that is the bedroom tax. Apparently the scandal of it. So this is what Labour have to say on it. Okay, the Tories' bedroom tax will have disastrous consequences. For example, 2/3 of households hit will be home to someone with a disability. Ooh. Non-resident mums and dads will need extra money just to enable their children to stay. The idea that the tax will lead to people downsizing and freeing up larger accommodation is nonsense. In most areas, there simply aren't enough smaller housing units to downsize to. Okay. The new tax is being introduced at the same time as millionaires get their £100,000 per year tax break. Yeah. This is cynical and shameful move. It's meant to be this is cynical and shameful move by the Tory government, and aimed at smearing social housing tenants as scroungers. If you're sick of this blundering, incompetent, vicious government, send them a strong message. On Thursday, vote Labour. Where do we begin with that? First of all, it's not actually a tax of any sort. It's actually a deduction in benefit, and this is where so many people get confused with it. So this is genuinely how it is, right? So this bedroom tax is only applicable to people who claim the housing benefit. If you don't claim the housing benefit, it doesn't affect you at all. If you claim the housing benefit and you have what is classed as a spare bedroom, they will no longer pay for it. Fair enough. If you're not using the spare room, get rid of it. Get rid of it. You know? And yes, downsize. I waited 9 months. That is from completely outside of the system. 9 months from start to finish for me getting into this place. 9 months. How many months' notice were you given for you to get onto a list? You know? And for them to say that the smaller units aren't available, bull fucking shit. The council and this private firm have literally just finished building around here. There is plenty of housing available. You know, it might not be available overnight. You might have to wait a little bit because it's a fucking bidding system. But that bit isn't actually down to the government. That's down to the local council and how they issue out the housing. So yeah, to say that non-resident mums and dads will need extra money just to enable their children to stay, what that actually means is that like if say like because I have got divorced parents, so say both of them were claiming housing benefit for their separate houses. If I was to live between the two of them, then one of them is going to have to pay the bedroom tax and the other one wouldn't. Although some reports that I have seen that Labour people have put out have said that both would have to pay. Not exactly the case, but there you go. And so yeah, so it's not as bad as the Labour Party tried to make out at all. So when it actually comes to this vote, which is happening tomorrow, will I be voting for Labour? Because this is also the other thing that they put through. No, I would actually be more likely to vote for the Tories. I would. Because as much as I might disagree with some of the things that they've actually done, for me, they do appear to be helping the country get along. You know, they might be taking some controversial steps and controversial decisions, and yeah, okay, they're not going to get everything right. But at the end of the day, they're doing a shitload better than what Labour would do if they were given any sort of power. Not only that, but they will actually give you an answer, and they will say, this is what we will do. Not only that, but when Labour were in power, I mean, let's get back to a fact here. I'm still a gay. When Labour were in power, what did they do for gay rights? What was it they did? Oh yeah, civil partnerships. Well, what are civil partnerships? I mean, it's supposed to be the gay equivalent of marriage, but a civil partnership isn't actually worth the paper that it's wrote on. If you want me to give you an example as to why it isn't worth the paper that you wrote on, if I was married with someone right now in a civil partnership with that person, and that person got took ill into hospital, you know how sometimes it's family only that are allowed through? Do you know with a civil partnership, I'm not classed as family with that person? And that is a true fact. That's why I completely disagree with civil partnerships existing in the first place. They do nothing. You get literally a certificate and that's it. That's all you're going to get. There is no benefits with tax. There is no discounts with tax. You're not classed as family. It's bullshit. It's basically the Labour Party saying, well, we want to be seen to do something, so we'll do this and we'll make a big deal about it. But actually, it does nothing. Do you want to know what this government have done? Not long after they came in, one of the first issues that they tackled was to do with the gay blood ban. Now, the gay blood ban, okay, fair enough, I still disagree with the outcome of it. You know, it went from being a lifetime ban on gay people being able to give blood to a year of celibacy. How you prove that you've been celibate for a year is kind of a bit past me. But that's what they did. So at least they kind of tackled the issue. They made a little bit of change with it. So hopefully, if the next time that issue comes around, it's not going to be straight from a lifetime ban to nothing. It's going to be from a year, and they're going to go, well, actually, they've been celibate for a year, so, and, you know, there's no problems with the bloodstream, so, yeah, why don't we just get rid of it altogether? The other thing that they've done, of course, people around the world will know this, they actually brought forward for marriage equality. Now, this is something that the Rosie Cooper, the Labour MP, said in her letter that it wasn't in the party manifesto. Well, excuse me. So, for those of you who want to know, marriage equality at the moment is still kind of going through the whole political avenue. It is getting worked on. You know, they had the vote a couple of months back, and to a lot of people, it's out of the news. No one says anything about it on the telly anymore. It's just kind of left, but it is still getting worked on, so it's not completely forgotten about yet. But that's something that this government did. Not Labour. In fact, in my experience, it's Labour that voted against it. So, don't think I'll be voting for you.